Hello, Southwest Florida. This is Sekou Radio. And today we have a great guest. Our guest is Matt PFEIFFER. Matt is referee with USDA. I have known Matt for many years, refereeing a tennis tournament at Junior USDA. He also refereed college tennis, I believe professional also. Matt, I read your bio, but I'm gonna let you introduce yourself to Sekou Radio listener. Go ahead.
This is Matt PFEIFFER. I am a tennis referee. I've been a referee for the past about 18 years now. I started out as a tennis coach for Plant High School, and then I got interested in refereeing as I was doing that. And I took the class and passed the test and did some shadowing. And ever since then, I've just been growing in the referee business, so to speak, getting a lot of different experiences, mostly with juniors, but I've done some college, a lot of college lately, and I've done a few pro matches.
All right. So we picked the subject of tennis referee. We know you go through a lot between parents, players, line calls, coaches. So Matt, can you explain to us what is the basic function of a tennis referee at the USDA tournament?
Well, I feel that my role is to ensure fair play and to ensure that the rules are followed. And other than that, it's better if I'm not part of the match than if I am part of the match. If the players are aware of the rules and they follow the rules and I don't need to get involved, and that's usually the best scenario. If I do have to get involved, it's just to clarify some rules or make some line calls or maybe help them with the score if they've lost track of the score for whatever reason. Then I'm glad to do that, and that's my role, that's my function. I also need to keep the coaches and parents aware of what the etiquette is at a tennis tournament, that they're not allowed to coach and that they're allowed to cheer and root for their student/child, but they're not allowed to coach them during the match. Sometimes that can be an issue. Other than that, I just thoroughly enjoy it because I love watching good tennis. Great.
Now, we're going to try to dissect the roles of a referee, players, parents, coaches. Let's say, for example, there's a tournament in Tampa. The player is traveling from Naples, and I-75 somewhere is closed, no traffic, and they can't get to the tournament on time. But they're able to reach out to you and call you and tell you about it. What's the ruling on that?
Well, the official ruling on that would be that you're only supposed to plan for anything that might hold you up for being at a tournament, and you should not be late. However, if I'm given a call and I'm told what the situation is and I can check it out, and these days you can check out traffic reports right online. You can go on Bay News 9 and look at the traffic. So if they're being truthful with me and they're honest, then I will let the other player know that they're on their way and that player needs to wait. If they don't call me at all and they just, let some other parent know, and that's, then I'm going to have to assess the penalty. And usually the penalty is one game every 5 minutes that someone is late. If one game every 5 minutes, that is up to a total of 3 games. I can't penalize more than 3 games. And usually that seems to satisfy everybody.
So every 5 minutes, if that person doesn't, that would mean if that person doesn't show within 15 minutes, the person is DQ, is out of the tournament, right?
Right, but if there are, of course, extenuating circumstances, as the tournament director, myself, the referee, if we get together and feel like the person who called and the parent who called is legitimate, they were in a car accident or they had a flat tire or there actually was a shutdown of I-75 due to an accident and it's verifiable, then we'll work with them to get them to the tournament. They'll still probably have a penalty because that's unavoidable, but we'll still want to get the match played.
So in that case, whenever the player gets to the tournament site, then the match is played. You still penalize him? Let's say he shows up.
Yeah, I still have to enforce the rules. Yeah, which would be one game every 5 minutes, so it'll be up to 3 games.
What?
So at least I wouldn't be disqualifying that player.
Okay. So past 15 minutes, he's got 3 games for sure.
Exactly.
All right.
But we want the match to be played at the junior level, especially because that's the most important thing. So we try our best to work with people, work with the opponent, let them, keep them abreast of what's going on so that we can ensure the match gets played if at all possible.
Okay. Now, let's talk about you as a referee. How would we differentiate you from the player and the parents? I know you have certain attire. Can you describe a little bit what's happening when you start your job as a referee?
Right. Usually we wear the approved USTA uniform, which consists of the khaki pants or shorts, the blue shirt, and the cap, which is red these days. It used to be a khaki color as well, but now it is red. And that's about it, really. That pretty much makes us stand out.
18 years of refereeing junior tennis tournaments. In Florida, we sometimes have hot season. The summers are very hot here. What are the rulings when the weather is hot? Can you school some of our new parents who are coming into the game?
I'm sure, yeah. The wind rule rarely comes into effect, but if winds are consistently over 20 miles per hour, then we have to consider postponing for that period of time. The heat rule, well, in Florida it's always hot, but if it's going to be over 90 degrees for an extended period of time, we give players a 10-minute break if they've split sets before their third set or their third set tiebreaker, whatever the format is. And the cold rule, we never really have to worry about. I mean, if it gets to a freezing temperature, obviously we're going to postpone the match until it warms up to at least 40 degrees. But I haven't really ever had to enforce that scenario in Florida anyway.
Right. Now, during the COVID, I believe a lot of changes happened to tennis, such as scoring, venue. Some people have to wear a mask. So can you school us or school the parents about how you play tennis tournament during these COVID-19 period?
Sure, yeah. Players are encouraged to bring masks and wear them when they're not playing. They don't have to wear them when they are playing. So that generally goes well. The referees, of course, are wearing masks, so we're keeping socially distanced. We have kind of place markers around the premises to let people know what is an appropriate distance. We try and encourage the parents and the coaches to stay socially distant as much as they can. We do use a virtual tournament desk, so that keeps things not so crowded around the tournament desk. So what that means is players would use their phones to check in online, and they're sent to a court, the court that they're playing on. They're sent to that via a text message. And then, of course, if they need to come to the desk for clarification, they can. But it's a window, and it's one at a time. And we're just doing our best to keep everybody safe.
Now, you said virtual texting, so the player don't have to show up at desk, but just text and get the court number and go to that court.
Yeah, ideally, if they have downloaded the app, which is called a Match Tennis app, and the director is sending out the information efficiently, then everybody knows what's going on, where they're supposed to be, and nobody has to come to the desk. Now, of course, there are technical issues sometimes where the players don't understand how to use the app because they're young or just not technologically proficient. Director could be busy, so then you might have to do some clarification at the desk, but try to keep everything flowing without doing that too much.
What about the balls? Do you have any new ruling about the tennis balls?
Yeah, that's been a little bit of a controversy. They're supposed to have separate balls, but what happens is they always get mixed up anyway. So we just been playing with one can at tournaments that I've been to, and we just have sanitizer right there available for the players to use on the changeovers. Like I said, they get mixed up even if you do give them their own can. So.
What about the scoring? Did the scoring also change? Is the one set ad or one set no ad?
Yeah, in the beginning, when we first came back, we shortened the format where we used no ad scoring, and we also used short sets. And then now we've gone back to 6-game sets, but still no ad scoring. And then I imagine, if things stay stable, then we'll go back to for level 6 anyway. They're full format of 2 sets with ads and a 10-point tiebreaker.
Yeah, with one set no ad. So how many matches a player have to play a day? 2 or 3, or they can play more?
They could play 3. If we're doing the 2 sets up to 4. We haven't really been doing any with just one set. They've all been 2 out of 3 sets. Just we were using the short sets, and now we've gone up to the 6-game sets. So when you're doing the 6-game sets, you want to stay with 2 matches a day.
Right. So no ad scoring. The third set, did they play the third set out, or did they play tiebreaker, 10-point tiebreaker?
Yeah, 10-point tiebreaker. They have to win by 2.
Okay. That's in case they split the set, right?
Correct.
Now, today, the purpose of this show is to school new parents how to handle and behave during a tennis tournament. Injury time, or before we even go to injury time, Matt, what is the time for switching over after a game? How many times a player is allowed to have or sit on the bench before they go to play the next game?
In the half for changeovers, if that's what you mean. So that's every odd game. After the third game, you sit for a minute and a half, 90 seconds, and then if the set is over, you get a 2-minute set break.
Okay. And what about a player have an injury on the court? How much time does that player get in order to get?
Yeah, they get up to. If they get injured, they get up to 15 minutes, and that's total time. You have to have time to go get someone. If it's a junior tournament, we don't have trainers, so they have to get the parent or the coach, and that person has to be given time to get ice or whatever needs to be, first aid kit, whatever needs to be provided to help with the injury. And then the actual timeout itself is 3 minutes. That's after the injury has been evaluated and the necessary supplies and equipment are available. Then you can start a 3-minute clock. And you only get one of those timeouts per injury.
Okay. Now, let's talk about players, coaches, and parents. What is the rule for the parents and players? Did they allow